I have a gorgeous picture in my office of a fall nature scene. In the picture is a forest in full bloom of fall colors and a lonely wooden bench. Behind the bench are some bushes. The bench is seated near a well-worn path along a fence row. The sun appears to be setting. The bench invites the viewer to sit and contemplate. I can almost smell the fall leaves and hear them rustle in the gentle breeze. Of course, it's also not 100 degrees like it would be in Texas. The picture has a Bible verse on it. The verse says, "Show me the path where I should walk, O Lord. Point out the right road for me to follow." That verse is my hope for us for this homily. Show us the path, Lord. Direct our actions. The path is begun today in our first reading from the Acts of the Apostles. This reading was read on Easter Sunday and continues with today's verses. Peter was testifying to Cornelius and all those present. Peter was saying that they are witnesses of the resurrection of Jesus Christ after his death. Now, Cornelius is a Roman centurion. His name is quintessentially Roman. He's not a fellow Jew. Remember, it was centurions who killed Jesus. They are Gentiles. Socially, they are as separated as they could possibly be, as if one were standing on one side of the Grand Canyon and the other on the other side. But spiritually, Cornelius and his family were said to be God-fearing, meaning they have embraced the God of the Jews, even though they were Gentiles. Cornelius had had a vision that he would meet Simon Peter, and here Peter was standing in front of him. That's why he falls to his knees and greets him with such respect and worship. Their paths are converging. Peter says, "I'm a man like you, get up." Then Peter proceeds to speak, saying that, "In truth, I see that God shows no partiality. Whoever fears him and acts uprightly is acceptable to God." So let's put that in real-life terms. Let's turn off the lights over the congregation. Okay, Gilbert, go ahead, turn off the lights. Let me show you this. This is going to be cool. Okay, so now when the lights come back on, I want you to look around and pay attention. So Gilbert, turn the lights back on. Everybody look around why they happen. Did you see it? Did you notice it? Did you see how the lights didn't light up the sinners among us? How they didn't shine on those who were tall? How they didn't shine on kids? How they didn't shine on those with gray hair? On the Hispanic? On the African? Lights don't discriminate. When they turn on for everyone. Jews and Greeks, Muslims and Hindus, gay and straight, Republicans and Democrats, white people, black people, purple people. That's the path that St. Paul sets out for us today. Universal love. Our second reading from St. John says, "Beloved, let us love one another because love is of God. Everyone who loves is begotten of God." That means if you don't love everyone, you are not of God. Jesus is very clear. Love the sinner and hate the sin. That means we must love people who think differently than we do. We don't have to love the actions, but we do need to love the person. The incarnation of Jesus, God becoming man, is for all. And the light of the world shines on us indiscriminately. That is the path of a Christian. Jesus died for those who killed him. Jesus died for those who love him. Jesus died for us who sin. Let me show you what happens when we don't love as we are taught, but are selective. While I was preparing this homily, I was sitting in McDonald's eating a double quarter pounder with cheese. And I don't see my doctor here. He sits back there, so if he's, Abe, are you here? Don't tell him. I got up to get a Diet Coke, and an employee walking past my table looked at my homily books. She said, "Do you mind if I look at your book?" "No, go ahead." "What is this for?" she asked. "I'm working on my homily." She looked at me confused, and so I said, "It's for my Sunday sermon. Catholics know the word homily, while Protestants know the word sermon." "Oh, what church do you pastor?" she asked. I told her, Holy Spirit Catholic Church, and her face changed. It wasn't anger exactly, but there was some there. I think it was more like hurt. She said, with an edge in her voice, "My mom was a very devout Catholic. She went to Mass every day and volunteered so much for her church. She was there every day doing something." Now, I won't say the name of the Catholic Church, but it wasn't Holy Spirit, thank God. She continued, "When she became homebound and couldn't come to church anymore, no one came to visit her. That's terrible, isn't it?" she said. After all she did, all the volunteer hours, and nothing, no one came to see her. I apologized, agreed with her, and left. But she stayed with me. Her mother's church didn't keep the commandments. They didn't have the time to love like Jesus taught. They chose to shine their light only on those that came into their church. Now, I just heard that Holy Spirit was voted the third most favorite church in the city of San Antonio. That's awesome, and congratulations to churches number 1 and number 2. Now, I'd love to be number 1, but I'll take 3. As long, and I say this importantly, as long as we are loving, as long as we are forgiving, as long as we embody the message of Jesus Christ and stay on the path that God sets before us. And that path is this. This church is for everyone, saints and sinners alike. And we must shine that light of Christ wherever we go and to whomever we meet, not just our friends, not just our family, everyone. Love like Jesus with everything you got. That's the path that's set before us. Don't get lost.